This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
And Knicks family, what's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? Well, the score ended up, I guess, respectable, but for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, that was a bad one. The New York Knicks played terribly all night long versus the Golden State Warriors. They couldn't get anything to go right. They couldn't do anything right tonight, last night, whenever it is. First of all, in my opinion, and I'm not going to say this is the reason why the Knicks lost the game, because the Golden State Warriors were just better than the Knicks. That's without a doubt. Easily better than the Knicks. But I felt like the matchups were just wrong, folks. Honestly, I felt like, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter if the matchups were wrong or not. The Knicks were going to lose this basketball game. They could not hit shots. They were turning the basketball over. The Knicks just played terribly, but I just felt from the beginning of the game, the matchups that Tom Thibodeau threw out there on the floor, I just felt like they were wrong. Can't say that's the reason why they lost the game, though. The Golden State Warriors just moved the ball too well. The Knicks couldn't rotate fast enough. Klay Thompson got hot in the first quarter. Steph Curry, they put Cam Reddish on him. I mean, he still scored his 24 points. But now he was actually dishing the ball because he had a little bit of length on him, which allowed some other people to get involved a little bit more, in my opinion. 24 points, 10 assists for Steph Curry. 3 people with 20-plus points for the Golden State Warriors. What are you going to do, ladies and gentlemen? The Knicks dropped one on their West Coast trip. They had 1-2 straight. Now they got to get it back versus the Phoenix Suns. That's not going to be an easy task, right? The Phoenix Suns just defeated this very team by 11 points. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean the matchups. The Knicks could match up well against the Phoenix Suns. We'll find out. The Suns lost tonight to the Utah Jazz 134-133. But as for tonight's game, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the Knicks just couldn't really get anything going from the beginning of the game. It just wasn't there. Julius Randle had 20 points, 7 rebounds. He shot well from the field. But for the most part, his shooting was ineffective. R.J. Barrett had 18 points, but he still shot 31% from the field. He shot 16.7% from the three-point line. And you talk about a player being in a shooting slump, ladies and gentlemen. R.J. Barrett is in a terrible shooting slump. A terrible shooting slump. Bad. When he touches the ball and he's ready to shoot, I cringe. Because I don't feel like he's going to make it. It doesn't matter if he's driving to the basket, shooting a jumper, shooting a mid-range shot. I cringe when R.J. Barrett, at this point in time, right now, gets ready to shoot the ball. He did have 5 assists tonight. He was 5 for 5 from the free throw line. It's R.J. Barrett. Jalen Brunson, an off night for Jalen Brunson, 13 points, 2 for 13 from the field, 15.4% for Jalen Brunson. He was 1 for 5 from the three-point line for 20%. 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Cam Reddish had 11 points. Jericho Sims had 10 points and 10 rebounds. The only person in double-digit rebounds for the New York Knicks. The Knicks did have people rebounding across the board. Barrett had 4. Randall had 7. Hartenstein had 5. Cam Reddish had 2. Jalen Brunson had 5. Emmanuel Quickly had 6 rebounds. Obi Toppin had 5. Jericho Sims had 10. So they had guys rebounding the ball across the board. But, the Knicks had 13 offensive rebounds, but they weren't scoring. They weren't making shots. So naturally, they'll have a few more offensive rebounds. But the Golden State Warriors, on the other hand, had 63 rebounds. They came into this game averaging 41 rebounds a game. Now, the Knicks weren't shooting the ball well. The Knicks shot terribly from the field, like really, really bad. 34% bad the New York Knicks did from the field. They couldn't buy anything. They had a stretch here or there where they made a few shots, but the Golden State Warriors would come right back, and go on a mini run, 5, 6, 7-point run, and extend the lead right back out. They dropped one. Let's see if they can get it back. That's the key now. How do the Knicks rebound? How do they rebound after this loss? Right? They showed a lot of togetherness over the last 2 games, talking about Utah and Denver. Now, we've got to see, after a loss, can they remain together? And can they come back and have a good performance? They don't have to win, but have a good performance. Hopefully a good performance leads to a win. But they had a terrible performance tonight. They were back with the turnovers, too. Back with the turnovers tonight. And a team like the Golden State Warriors, they're going to capitalize on your turnovers, ladies and gentlemen. For the Golden State Warriors, they were led in scoring by Steph Curry, 24 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. But they had scoring across the board. Very balanced scoring for the Golden State Warriors. Balanced scoring. Klay Thompson, 20 points. Shot 50% from the field and 40% from 3. It's a guy that came into the game shooting poorly from the field. Shot well tonight. Getting 20 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Andrew Wiggins, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 53% from the field and 37.5% from the three-point line. Draymond Green, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. 13 points from Jordan Poole. JaMychal Green had 12 points. The Golden State Warriors, they were running screen and roll all over the place. The Knicks could not stop it. They were cutting and slicing and slashing to the basket. The Knicks could not stop it. They ran circles around the Knicks defense tonight, in my opinion. They ran circles around them. It's not much you can really say about this basketball game, to be honest with you. The Warriors just dominated from the beginning to the end. They looked like a championship team. Now, of course, the Warriors came into the game 6-1 at home, playing very well at home, but 0-8 on the road, not playing well on the road. The Knicks, on the other hand, were a 500 team on the road. Doesn't mean anything. You got to play the matchup that's in front of you, not the matchups that were behind you. The Knicks tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 55 rebounds. The Warriors, 63 rebounds. 32 assists for the Golden State Warriors. They came into the game averaging 28. So you knew that they were going to move the ball and get a lot of assists. The Knicks just weren't ready for it. Step slow. Not ready for backdoor cuts. Communication didn't look as though it was there. And as far as I'm concerned, it was all due to the Golden State Warriors offense, the way that they move the basketball, so on and so forth. The Knicks had 16 assists, ladies and gentlemen. 16. And, a lot of it is because they weren't making shots. But then also, the Knicks made the Warriors' defense look great, in my opinion, because the Knicks weren't really, I don't know, the ball movement just was not there. It wasn't crisp at all, right? The ball movement, the decision-making on where to go with the basketball. Guys couldn't get their hands on the basketball. They're throwing the ball all over the place. 32 assists for the Warriors, 16 for the New York Knicks. 16. Both teams had 8 steals, 7 blocks for the Knicks, 3 for the Warriors. Both teams had 16 turnovers. The Knicks, 34.5% from the field, 45% for the Golden State Warriors, 26% from 3 for the Knicks, 36% for the Warriors, 94.1% from the free throw line for the Knicks. That's what kept them when they were able to get close, because they did shave it to 8 points in the fourth quarter. Those free throws, making free throws, allowed the Knicks to hang around a little bit. Let's say that. Right? It allowed the Knicks were 32 for 34 from the free throw line. The Warriors, on the other hand, were 55% from the free throw line. But the Knicks, 32 for 34. And you heard them on the telecast as one of the Achilles heels of the Golden State Warriors. They foul. And when the team is making a high percentage, the Knicks scored 32 points from the free throw line, that can hurt you. That can hurt you. If the Knicks could have made some shots, the Knicks made more free throws than they made field goals tonight. The Knicks only made 30 field goals tonight. They made 32 free throws. 40 points in the paint for both teams. 17 second chance points for the Knicks, 11 for the Golden State Warriors. But it makes sense because the Knicks were missing so many shots. There were way more chances for the Knicks to get second chance points. Who cares about that stat? Fast break points, Golden State 21, the Knicks 19. The Knicks at least capitalized on turnovers that the Warriors made, but the Warriors also capitalized on turnovers that the Knicks made. But my question, ladies and gentlemen, is, Greg said 16 assists for the entire game tells you how selfish this team is. They weren't making shots. They didn't play very well, and they didn't move the ball very well tonight. And there was a lot of over dribbling, but it's not like that every single night, Greg. Come on. It's not like that every single night. Plus, they weren't making shots. Okay? Let's not overstate it. I guess my question, though, is what to do with RJ? How do the Knicks get RJ in rhythm? We're getting close to 20 games into the season. Right? The Knicks are 16 games into the season now? And RJ is shooting a terrible percentage from the field, terrible percentage from the three-point line. And he made it worse tonight. He was already shooting bad. He made it worse tonight. What to do? I see people say put him on the bench. And then what? You bring in Emmanuel quickly? I don't think that's going to solve his shooting problems. The shooting is not because defenses are, RJ's getting layups at the basket sometimes. And he's just not making the layups. And I mean layups like without defense there sometimes, or minimal defense there. And he's just not making it. You would expect that he's going to begin to make it, but geez. So I don't know if bringing him off the bench solves the problem. I don't know. I don't think it's confidence. I think the kid is confident. I don't know what it is. Is it just that he's off? How do you solve the problem of him having slow starts every season? Right now, the Knicks are 8-8. But if RJ was shooting a little bit better, the Knicks could be 10-6 maybe. They could have won 2 more games maybe. How do you get RJ in rhythm? Because even when, I can say, hey, the Knicks got to find a way to isolate RJ, to get him some easy looks or this or that. I can't even say that. I could say it, but I won't say it because he's had chances where he's isolated. He's had chances where he's by himself. He's had these opportunities, and he's just not making it. 3-point, he made a couple of threes tonight. What was he? I think he made a couple of threes. 1 or 2 threes tonight. RJ, 1 3 tonight. But when he's shooting it, doesn't look like it's always short, very short. Does he not have legs? Are his legs heavy? Because he's not getting, he already doesn't have much lift. He's getting less lift when he goes to the basket now, it seems. So he has the result to a fadeaway. Fadeaway layups. Not just a fadeaway jump shot. Fadeaway layups. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I guess at this point, you got to just let him play. Right? Continue to play the game. And, when he's healthy, get in the gym and shoot. Right? Get in the gym, shoot. Find a gym somewhere when you're on the road, shoot. Listen, there's boys and girls clubs. There's high schools. There's gyms. You can find a gym. You can find a gym, and you're in the NBA. Somebody will let you in. I know he probably needs to rest up right now. There were reports on, from certain reporters that when they went to the Knicks practice, they had to keep their distance because RJ, was still kind of sick. So my question is this: if RJ is sick, why not just not play him? Have somebody else, in the lineup, and let him rest. Let him get healthy. You know what I mean? It's not helping his game. I'm assuming that the medical staff is saying, hey, by him playing, he's not going to get any worse. But it's not helping his game, and it's not helping the team. Right? So why not let him sit, get healthy, get strong, get his legs under him, right? Get his energy back, and then return to the court. Instead of just continuing to throw him out there and night after night after night, play bad. Play bad. Kaiser Soul says sit him. Play Evan if he's sit him and play Evan if he's still hurting, still ill. I agree. Sit him. Play somebody else. How much worse can that, whoever they play, how much worse can they do? I know RJ had 18 points tonight, but 18 points on 18 shots. Gregory Lee said RJ is suffering from lack of handle and shooting. Definitely lack of shooting. I don't know if, how much handle, are you saying that he needs? Do you expect him to have Steph Curry handle? I don't. I don't expect him to have Ja Morant handle. I don't expect him to have any kind of crazy handles. He needs enough handle to be able to get to the basket, and he normally does. Now, if you want to talk about speed, jumping ability, those type of things, yeah, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. Big comedy said RJ is this year's scapegoat. I'm not scapegoating RJ. I'm not going to scapegoat him. There's much more to the Knicks. The troubles that they've had recently or before the last two games, and we're going to see how they respond to this game, is not all RJ. Not all RJ. I still do believe that if he was shooting well, the Knicks could have won, maybe two more of these games if he was shooting well. But I'm not going to blame just RJ. No way. No way. Because, everybody, has played bad defense on this team or not shot the ball well or made some bad decisions. You know what I mean? It's definitely a team effort. A team loss, team win. But RJ just hasn't played well this year so far. Not offensively or defensively. That's all I'm saying. Somebody asked, how many points did Jordan Poole have? Bernadette said, how many points did Jordan Poole have? I think Jordan Poole had 10 points tonight, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Jordan Poole, 13 points tonight. He only shot 29.4%. He did shoot 37.5% from the 3-point line. Angel Torres, I had Angel Torres up here before it skipped out on me. Let me see if I can find what you were getting ready to, what you were saying, Angel. Said RJ, the worst of RJ is that he's being lazy on defense. He's definitely not playing defense well. You know what I mean? He's not playing it well. He's always had trouble with backdoor cuts. I feel like he's having some trouble this year staying in front of his man. That's going to be a problem because our perimeter defense has gotten worse year by year since we've made the playoffs. King John, 1985, said this was supposed to be RJ's breakout season. We were hoping this was going to be his breakout season. The season ain't over yet, right? The Knicks are 8-8, 16 games into the season. There's still a lot of games left for RJ to get hot. And hopefully he will get hot. But there's still a lot of games left for RJ. Ralph Unreal laughing, because everyone's mad at RJ. I'm not mad at RJ. I just want RJ to play better. The Knicks need this guy. You know what I mean? If they're going to continue to battle, try to make that play-in spot or the playoffs, the Knicks are going to need RJ. They need him to play well. They paid him to be one of the right now, the Knicks' big three is RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson. They paid this man to be one of these guys. So they need him to step up. With the loss tonight, the Knicks fall to 9th in the Eastern Conference. All right, the Washington Wizards defeated the Miami Heat. They're 9-7. The Philadelphia 76ers won their game tonight. They're 8-7. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks. The Knicks obviously lose to the Warriors. They're 8-8. And then the Brooklyn Nets are just behind them at 7-9. Then below the Nets are the Miami Heat at 7-9. And then the Chicago Bulls are 6-10 at the moment. So the Knicks are still in that play-in position. But ladies and gentlemen, they play the Phoenix Suns next, and the Phoenix Suns, they're 9-6. in the Western Conference. They lost their last game tonight. They lost tonight versus the Utah Jazz. High-scoring affair, 134 to 133. So they're going to be on there. They want to get that back. Hopefully the Knicks have a little bit of an edge going into Phoenix. But again, I'm not going to base the Knicks' performance on whether or not they win or lose versus the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to base it on some other things. Are they moving the basketball? Are they playing better defense? Are they playing better transition defense? What is their energy level like? Those type of things. I just want to see them rebound and play well because they just played terrible tonight. They just played terrible. And I see some people say Pudge Nice said Cam is out. Someone said Cam is day today. Pudge Nice said Cam is out. I guess that hurts. I didn't see when and where Cam got hurt. I'm assuming that you're hearing this from Tom Thibodeau, which for the Knicks is not a good thing. We'll see, I guess. If Quentin Grimes gets in there. He has a sore groin. Randrock said he has a sore groin. So we'll see how this impacts the Knicks now. And I feel bad for Cam, right? Because Cam is doing what he can. He's playing defense. He's doing what he can, but he can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Every time we turn around, that makes it tough. That makes it tough for him. So now, where do the Knicks go with the rotation now? You would assume that Evan Fournier gets back into the rotation if Cam is going to be out. Right? So if Cam is going to be out, do you start Fournier or do you start Grimes? Grimes hasn't even been on the floor the past couple of games. Well, neither has Evan Fournier, right? Neither one of these guys have been on the floor the past couple of games. Or do you move Emmanuel Quickly into the lineup at shooting guard, since he's at least been on the floor playing, and then you got to make a decision between Evan Fournier and Quentin Grimes, to play in the second unit, or do you go at 8? I don't know if you go at 8. I don't know if you go at 8. You know what I mean? You might need a little bit more than that. So, someone said we got to sign a starting small forward. And me and Tony Crow had this discussion not too long ago about the Knicks making a move for that kid over there in Phoenix. Not Mikal Bridges, the old guy. Can't think of his name right now. Crowder, Jay Crowder. There we go. Maybe that's something that, and there's some talks out there that the Knicks have some interest in Jay Crowder. And if our wings continue to go down, and if the Knicks are, don't feel like they can get anything from Evan Fournier, if they're not going to play Quentin Grimes, and R.J. Barrett's not doing what we need him to do, Cam Reddish can't stay healthy, then what? I see some people say Melo. But obviously, I'm a big Melo fan, right? I'm a big Melo fan. Does Melo bring it on the defensive side, though? That's my question. Does Melo bring it on the defensive side? I'm not hating on him because I'm a big Carmelo Anthony fan, but does he bring it on the defensive side? That's where the Knicks are lacking right now. We need somebody that can play some defense out there. You know what I mean? Somebody that can play some defense. If you bring in Jay Crowder, the thing about Jay Crowder is now you got to trade for him. And I think he makes about $10 million a year. Who are you moving for him? You're not going to give up a young guy. That would be crazy. You know what I mean? I'm not giving up. And in order to make the salaries match, you got to give up at least 2 young guys to make the salaries match. Wouldn't make any sense to do that. So you got to find a way to attach Fournier to the deal, which means you might be taking back more salary, which you would eventually waive those guys. And then the Phoenix Suns may, because Evan Fournier has, another year left on his contract, they may say, hey, well, you got to throw us a first-round pick or something like that. I don't know. Randrock said, who do we have on a two-way? On our two-way contracts is Trevor Keels. Not excited about what he's going to be able to do. And then you got Hunt, right? Maybe Hunt can play some defense. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, I guess we'll see how long Cam Reddish might be out. Let's see what this rotation looks like going into the game in Phoenix. See what that looks like. But I can say this, the defense isn't going to be better without Cam on the floor, unless you think that Grimes is going to come in and give you that defense. You know what I mean? Every time the Knicks, it seems like they, I don't want to say that it looked like they were going to turn the corner, because this team is going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what I mean? But with this team, I guess that's why they want to stay so deep, because they got guys that are going to get injured a lot, Going to get injured a lot. I'm thinking, though, because of the way things have been, he may go ahead and start quickly. And I need to look at the Phoenix Suns roster real quick and just, kind of survey what it is that they're doing and how they're running their offense and stuff like that. But, he may go with quickly, move quickly into that starting unit. When you look at the Phoenix Suns, Cameron Payne, Devin Booker, at the point guard and shooting guard spots. And then at the 3 spot, you got Mikal Bridges, who he's 6'6". Devin Booker, he's 6'5". Cameron Payne is, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". Let me have page refresh. Yeah, he's 6'1". Okay. I thought he was taller than that. He's 6'1", right? So you may be able to get away with going with Emmanuel quickly, since he's been playing, he should be in shape, et cetera, et cetera. You may be able to get away with going with Emmanuel quickly, right? So if you're going with Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel quickly, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and then Hartenstein at the center position. You could probably get away with that versus the Phoenix Suns. Matchup-wise, let me say that. Matchup-wise, you can probably get away with it. Do you match up talent-wise? No. Would you have matched up talent-wise with Cam Reddish and even with Mitchell Robinson? Probably not. Mitchell Robinson's, he's had a good history against DeAndre Ayton. You know what I mean? But still don't match up talent-wise. So the Knicks are going to have to outwork these guys, out-hustle these guys. Randrock said he would start Sims over Hart. You could maybe do that. I mean, DeAndre Ayton is not going to take you outside that much. Last night against the Utah Jazz, he took 1 3-point attempt. So he's going to be an inside guy, which helps Hartenstein out some, right? But listen, Jericho Sims has been playing good basketball, and maybe it is time to start him. At least maybe for this game. He's 10 points, 10 rebounds tonight. I think he may even have had 1 or 2 blocks tonight. He's just so very active out there on the floor. You know what I mean? Active, constantly moving, constantly making plays. You know, it may not hurt the art to start him, get some activity, get a little bit more activity in that starting lineup. There were a couple times in maybe the third quarter when, you know, Jericho Sims and Julius Randle down there, you know, look big and strong. You know, those are 2 big, strong guys that can rebound the basketball and, you know, banging people around. Randrock said it seems like he's getting comfortable. Yeah, it does seem like he's getting comfortable. You know, and understanding a little bit better what he needs to do when he's out there on the floor. So, you know, I guess we'll see. We'll see how this works. When do they play the Phoenix Suns? Sunday? We'll see how this works, what Tom Thibodeau decides to do. I wasn't happy with the matchups that he did tonight. You know what I mean? And it's not the reason that the Knicks lost the game. But I just felt like the matchups, you know, gave Klay Thompson a little bit of light. R.J. Barrett can't guard Andrew Wiggins. And it allowed Steph Curry to become more of a distributor, which got other people involved. You know, and those are the things that I was afraid of. And that's what I felt like I seen tonight. But you know what? The way the Knicks shot the basketball, it would not have mattered. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have mattered. I will say this, Pudge Nice. I do agree. You said we played tough. You know, we didn't stop playing. I can definitely say that. We didn't stop playing. We continued to battle. We continued to fight. We played hard. So that's a good thing, right? We could have just gave it up and got blasted by 35. But we tried to stick in and tried to battle. We didn't come up with the victory, but hey, we was able to shave that lead down to like 8 or whatever. So I can say that. We played a little bit tougher. We played tough even though, you know, there was nothing we could do. You know what I mean? And that bodes well for them going into the Phoenix Suns game. You know, because they can look at themselves and say, hey, we came with the right energy. We continue to play tough. If we find a way to move the ball more, make some shots, we can compete in this basketball game versus the Phoenix Suns. You know, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks take a loss tonight to the Golden State Warriors. They're 8-8 on the season right now, just about where you thought they would be. Right? Just about where you thought they would be, a 500 basketball team. You know, at some point, you hope that the Knicks can string together a couple of wins, you know, so they can create some cushion, you know, get themselves to 3, 4, 5 games over 500, you know, and then create a little bit of cushion so that they can try to coast into that playing games and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess not coast, but, you know, when the schedule gets tough, because when you get around, the schedule is going to be tough now, right? They're going to play Phoenix. They're going to play OKC. They'll come home and play Portland. I think they get a break with Detroit and maybe another team, and then they go on a tough stretch. A tough stretch that goes all the way until the end of December. And then in January, you know, they play a couple of games. And then in January, from January to March, it's kind of brutal. It's a brutal one. So if the Knicks can find a way, you know, especially right now where, you know, teams have players going down, teams aren't playing well, right, to build themselves a little bit of a cushion. So that when they hit that stretch from January to March, you know, they're going to need that cushion. They really are. Now, you know, it seems to happen to the Knicks every season that they, you know, you look at the schedule and you're like, oh my goodness, you know, look, this is a tough schedule. You know, they start the season tough. And then in the middle of the season, they got a rough schedule, you know, and teams get hurt or teams aren't playing well or this player has to sit out, that player has to sit out, whatever happens. You know what I mean? And it ends up not looking and feeling as bad as it does. But you know what? You can't count on that to happen. You know what I mean? You just can't count on that to happen. You got to the Knicks got it. They need to build a cushion when they can. And that's one thing I was hoping when they came into this game. I'm like, okay, they're one game above 500. They can find a way to get to 2 games above 500. You know what I mean? And then see what happens with Phoenix and OKC. Maybe they leave the West Coast 2 games above 500. I was hoping maybe something like that. But I'm going to read off the schedule that's coming up after the Knicks get home. All right, they play Phoenix, they play OKC. And then it's Portland, Memphis, 2 tough games, both at home. Then they play Detroit. They go to Detroit, play Detroit. Then they come back home and they play Milwaukee, Dallas, Cleveland, Atlanta, Charlotte. Well, Charlotte's away. Then they play Sacramento. The Sacramento Kings, ladies and gentlemen, are playing decent basketball. So that's not going to be a gimme win. The Sacramento Kings are 8-6 on the season. Then they go and they play Chicago, in Chicago twice. They play Chicago on December 14th. Then they play them again on December the 16th. Right now, Chicago is 6-10. We'll see where they are at that point in the season. Then they play Indiana. The Indiana Pacers are currently in the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference at 8-6. We'll see where they are then, but right now they're in the 5th seed. Then they come back home and they play Golden State. They play Toronto. Then they play Chicago again. Then they play Philadelphia on Christmas. And then Dallas. They get a break with I don't even want to say a break with San Antonio. Because San Antonio, or maybe it is a break with San Antonio. They're 6-10. I thought they were a little bit better. Then Phoenix and then San Antonio again. Toronto, Milwaukee, Indiana, the Wizards. Let me get to late January. Late January, here we go. January 20th, they play the Hawks. Then they play the Raptors. Then Cleveland. Then Boston. Then Brooklyn. The Lakers are trash. Then they play Miami. Then the Clippers. Then Philadelphia. Then they get a break with Orlando. Then they play Philadelphia, the Jazz, Brooklyn, Atlanta. Wizards are good. Pelicans, Boston, Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Charlotte, Sacramento, Clippers. Lakers aren't that good. Portland, Denver, Minnesota, Miami. The schedule gets really, really tough. You know what I mean? Schedule gets really, really tough. Blue Hefner says, Sim, think every game is tough. These teams not. Sim, think every game is tough. These teams not that good. I do think every game is tough. That's the reason why the Knicks are 8-8. Because every game is tough. Yeah. It's the NBA. Every game is tough. You know what I'm saying? And when I read off the schedule that I just read off, from late January to March, that's a tough schedule. You know, it's a tough one. So I'm hoping that the Knicks can find a way to get some cushion. I don't know when or where they're going to get that cushion. Hopefully they can hit a streak. We'll see. You know what I mean? Hopefully they can hit a streak. And I see what you said. The whole team is mid-level. This is right now they are. Right now, at this point. Why? Because the season just started. Their teams are going to begin to separate. Yes, there is some parity across the league, which means that the games are tougher. You dig? Because that means the Knicks are in the middle of that pack too. So the games are tougher. When there's parity, the games are even a little bit tougher because you don't get those bottom dwellers. It's not that many bottom dwellers. I mean, when you look at, who are the real bottom dwellers right now, the Rockets are 3-10. Los Angeles is 4-10. The Pistons are 3-14. Charlotte Hornets right now, 4-13. Orlando, 5-11. It's not that many bottom dwellers. You're talking one at this point in the season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bottom dwellers. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, I do believe every game is tough. Even though there's parity, I believe every game is tough because it is. So what are you going to do? They are winnable. Games are winnable, but it's still tough. Games are winnable. Yes, Blue. Games are winnable, but it's still tough. That's why I'm saying the Knicks, because the games get tougher from that January to March. They get tougher because you play more teams who are in that play-in and playoff position. I think it gets tougher from that time. You know, you're not playing. You don't. We've played a few teams now that weren't that good. Orlando and Detroit. We played Detroit twice already. We played Orlando. And that helps. When we get to that January through March, you play less of those teams. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, we'll see what's going to happen over the next couple of days. We'll be watching. There's some talks out there. I did want to get to this because I hadn't had a chance to get to it. There's some talks out there from Ian Begley that the Knicks have been at least listening to requests or whatever about Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly. Or, they haven't shunned people or turned them away. They've been listening. So we'll see. Obviously, the New York Knicks, the front office is, they got their ears and eyes open. They understand where they are. I don't think they're going to make any crazy moves to just give them a boost just to get into the playoffs. I think, they're going to save their moves for hopefully something big that's going to elevate them to the next level. But they're looking, and what's been said from what I've read is that it'd be draft compensation that the Knicks were looking for. So we'll see what comes of that. I doubt anything's going to be done now, right? General managers, they're having conversations now. But you won't see, I don't think you'll see anything truly happen or any kind of motion actually happen until midway through December. That's when I think you'll start to see some motion. Because that's when players who have been signed can now be traded. So it wouldn't make any sense to start doing it now unless there's just a deal that you can't pass up. But Afro Jedi said draft compensation to trade out of the draft. Yeah, I don't. You know why though, Afro? They might be looking for more draft compensation because the Knicks have draft picks that will be coming up this June. And they've got to figure out what to do with them. Do you move them along and try to trade them down the line for draft picks later on down the line? Because you're probably not playing those guys, right? Or do you trade those draft picks for another player? Or do you trade, include Emmanuel quickly and Derrick Rose in a trade, or whoever else? I'm just using those names because that's what's out there. Do you trade those guys, bring back draft compensation, and then use those draft picks this year so that you still have draft compensation later on? You still have draft assets later on down the line. You understand what I'm saying? So if you trade Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly now, you bring back maybe a first-round draft pick, maybe a second-round draft pick, and then when you have to use the draft picks this summer, to replace those guys, you still have other draft picks, for trades later on. It could be something like that. I don't know. But those are the rumors right now. Right? Those are the rumors right now that the Knicks are at least listening to, I don't want to say offers, but conversations around Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly. I would hope that if somebody does want an Emmanuel Quickly, the Knicks try to figure out a way to throw Evan Fournier in there. If they're not going to use him, he's got $18 million. We got $18 million sitting on the bench. If we can find someone that's willing to absorb his contract or however we can do it. If you can do it, do it. You know what I mean? Instead of just having him sit there. But now, with Cam Reddish being hurt, he may be back in play. So there we go. But ladies and gentlemen, it's late. It's 1:35. The Knicks took the L. I'm going to get some sleep. I've got to think about my 5 takeaways. I'll probably do it sometime tomorrow morning before I go to basketball practice. But I got to think about my 5 takeaways from this game, what I take from it. I might have to watch the game again early tomorrow morning so I can figure out what I'm really taking away from this basketball game. I'm not going to lie, I dozed off a couple of times too. You know what I mean? Got tired. I dozed off a little bit. But anyway, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Staying up late, 1:30 in the morning. I will catch you tomorrow. You'll get my 5 takeaways from tonight's game. And then, of course, I'll be on Sunday. I didn't get a chance to do my Westchester Knicks show last weekend, so I am going to do it this weekend. Probably Sunday morning before football begins. I do my Westchester Knicks show because we got some things brewing. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'll see you later. I'm out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.